What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to talk some Garrett Wilson because he took to social media and in a very slight but direct way destroyed his latest critic. So if you missed it this week, Dan Orlovsky of ESPN has kind of made it his mission to try to get Garrett Wilson out of New York. And look, Orlovsky has no ties to the New York Jets. He's not a Jets fan. He doesn't cover the Jets. He's a national guy. But earlier this week, he had a quote essentially saying Garrett Wilson's career is dying there. And while I don't think the Jets have done Garrett Wilson any favors in his career with the quarterback play that he's dealt with for a majority of it, I would like to keep the good players on my favorite football team. And they gave him a contract extension. They made him a very, very wealthy man. Deservingly so, right? Like, talented player, good person. They decide to extend him and give him a long contract. But I don't get why it always has to be the Jets. We'll use the Jets as the example. They gotta trade their best player. Don't build around them. You could just trade them away and just be horrible for forever. And Connor Rogers, who covers the Jets for Badlands and SNY on the pre and post game show, he's a lot smarter than I am, had this to say, which I thought summed it up perfectly. When they're drafting a quarterback this spring, shouldn't they want GW as key help for that young quarterback? The take can't simply be that the bad teams need to trade all of their talent. Like, that was the point that I wanted to bring up is, yes, the Jets offense is horrendous right now. It is absolutely abysmal. They need a lot of help. Why are you trading a 25-year-old wide receiver one who you just paid a long-term contract to? It doesn't make any sense. They're going to draft a quarterback in the spring. I'm sorry, very, very likely the Jets are taking a quarterback in the first round. How I would like to see the Jets put their young quarterback in a good situation, maintain a majority of the offensive line, which I think has played well. Another year of chemistry for them. You have a strong wide receiver one in Garrett Wilson. You have a good running game. They just need to add on to what they have on the offense. You pick the guys you want to build around and add on top of that. So it didn't stop there, though, unfortunately. So that was earlier in the week. Today, Dan Orlovsky was on First Take and questioned if the Pittsburgh Steelers should trade for Garrett Wilson. Number one, please stop. They just signed him to an extension. They're not going to trade Garrett Wilson. And number two, Aaron Rodgers, notable big fan of Garrett Wilson, right? Certainly, I don't recall this happening, but there wasn't the entirety of the second half last year where Aaron Rodgers was force-feeding Devontae Adams and not throwing to Garrett Wilson. Did I dream that? Was that just a mirage that I don't really remember happening? Let's think logically, please, on that one. And Garrett Wilson finally chimes in with something that I just appreciate the hell out of. He posts on Instagram with a caption, "Never waste it." With what has happened through Garrett Wilson's career, he has every right to be frustrated with the New York Jets. They've been bad the 4 years that he's been here in 22, 23, 24, and now in 2025. They are on their way to having their fourth straight losing record. And for some reason, Garrett Wilson, even after signing, has continued to remain loyal to this team. The Jets are allowed to have and keep good players. They can decide that, hey, we like this person, we're going to build around them. And a lot over the last decade, or however long their playoff drought is, going on 15 years, they have traded away players. Jamal Adams is a big one. They got a haul for that, and I don't blame them. And I was very, very pleased with the return that they got for Jamal Adams. But you don't want to be the team that drafts these guys and continues to trade them away. Like the Miami Marlins or Florida Marlins of old. They would have these really good cores and wouldn't pay anybody and then just trade them away. The Tampa Bay Rays, I know this is baseball comps, but it's just so frustrating that we have to hear from national media that the Jets shouldn't, their offense stinks, so they should trade their best player because he doesn't deserve that. Well, don't Jet fans deserve Garrett Wilson? I argue yes. I think we are very, very lucky to have Garrett Wilson and watch him play football every week. And I think the Jets need more players like Garrett Wilson and Jermaine Johnson, who came back this week and had his impact felt. Leaders, good on and off the field. Both Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, very good football players, good human beings, demand excellence, want respect from their teammates, want respect from around the league, and are loyal as all hell to this team that probably doesn't deserve it. But as fans, we have to appreciate that. I don't want to hear in the comments, oh, well, just trade Garrett Wilson anyway. He's a great guy, so what? They're not going to win for 10 years. Trade Garrett Wilson. Again, we're allowed to enjoy the good football players on this team and select. That's what this year should be, right? An evaluation year. Who are guys you want to build around? I know there's trade rumors right now leading up to the trade deadline, which is just a couple weeks away. Garrett Wilson and Jermaine Johnson are two players that I would not consider trading because the Jets need more guys like that, not less. So thank you, Garrett Wilson, for continuing to remain loyal to this team, for putting your latest critic in place with that little subtle hint at the Instagram caption. It's noticed and it's appreciated, at least by this Jets fan. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.